Everybody give Kevin Green a massive, massive, Okay, that was a bit of a build-up, wasn't it, from the big Mark Dalton. I'd just like to say I've never, ever spoken at a property network group before. These lads have been badgering me. I always say no to property network groups. I don't really know why. I think it's probably because I like the time with my children too much. I do speak all around the world, and I am the world's best speaker at no money down deals. If you don't realise that by now, you definitely will by the end of this session. There's no get-rich-quick scheme. If you're prepared to put the effort in and the guts towards it, you will be very successful. My advice probably to you is choose something that you absolutely love doing, whether it's property or anything else. I love property because I can stroke it, I can control it. My first house I ever bought, I drove by it every day to make sure it was still there. I mean, how stupid was I? So I've got property now, over 400 units, mostly in UK, because UK is safe. I don't take risks. I'm certainly not a risk taker. And I will pick up on one or two of those questions that were asked to the panel. I am my own bank. I hate the banks. Okay? I've seen what the banks do to people in another business I've got, which is called Repossession Rescue. And I've had to deal with consumers who are distraught because they're having their house repossessed, when actually they can't afford to pay the interest payments. Now, if you want to take a couple of notes, I assume you've all got paper, I hope. If you haven't, stick your hand up, and the team will hopefully put some paper in your hand. Because we're going to look at a few fundamentals to success in property markets. I speak from my own experience here of how to win in this game. And number one, basically, it's easier to mortgage, okay, you can write this down, it's easier to mortgage or finance something that you already own. Okay, it's one of the clues to winning in the credit crunch. It's easier to mortgage or finance something that you already own. If you write this next word down, ROTI, R-O-T-I. For me, the key is ROTI. ROTI stands for Return on Time Invested. Return on Time Invested. How much of my time is going to go into that particular strategy to set it up? Now, I'm big into lease options as well, both on land development and houses. And I don't mind that strategy at all, because I put a huge lot of time in to set up the contracts, and thereafter very little. See that Mr. Greg Ellis at the back there was drawing something here earlier on. I don't know if you can all see this. Very relevant here. Listen to your heart. Now, I'm just going to focus on this for about 5 minutes, because before I get into property deals themselves, success is largely all about us. If we get ourselves in the right place, then we're more successful. And I can give two identical business models to two different individuals, and they'll have totally different outcomes. Why is that? Okay, what is it about that successful person that's having all the results? Well, largely I've identified it as this. Listen to your heart before your head. Because your head gives you ideas, doesn't it? You think you want to do things. And you get excited about everything. You want to do it all. Now, thoughts sometimes are like a sticking plaster. They don't last. But if the actual feeling comes from the heart in what you want to do, whatever that might be in life, that lasts long term. So one of the keys to my success I can share with you, and I rarely share this, is that I listen to this and send the message to there. Because when it comes from in here, that is going to stick, and that's true intent. So if you have got dreams, write your dreams down and knock the wings off. That's your goals. I know Mark mentioned credit cards. Let's pick up on that one. I've got two main credit lines for buying land and property assets, and one of those is combined limit on VIP credit cards. These are credit cards that are the top end of the industry. The interesting thing about them is they usually don't charge a money transfer fee. So we can use those VIP credit cards. If you just make a note of this, probably most of you aren't aware of these. One or two of my students who've been trained with me will be. But these particular cards, we can get hold of them out of the marketplace, and then we can take debt on the card and transfer that money into a bank account. Once that money is into the bank account, it's cleared funds, isn't it? Can we now use that to go and buy property? Yes, okay. And money laundering regulation tells us that it needs to know where the deposit money comes from, if you're buying a deal, for instance. So if you go to get a mortgage and you're going to convey that through a solicitor. The solicitor wants to know where the deposit money is coming from. Where's it coming from? The bank. You only go one stage back. It's actually come off the credit card and it's debt.